Buenos días para todos, bienvenidos a la conferencia oficial de CONCACAF previo al juego entre Pachuca y Philadelphia Union. Con nosotros se encuentra el entrenador del equipo de Filadelfia, Jim Curtin, y el jugador Nathan Harriel. Quisiera en ese sentido dar algunas indicaciones a lo que significa esta mañana. Ellos están listos para responder las preguntas de los medios de comunicación aquí presentes y en la plataforma Zoom. Tendremos una conferencia, como sabrán, híbrida. Si desean hacer sus preguntas, favor levantar su mano en la sala y plataforma. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the official conference prior to the game between Pachuca and Philadelphia Union. With us, the coach of Philadelphia, Jim Curtin, and the players, Nathan Harriel. They are ready to answer your question. We will have a hybrid conference via Zoom and in person. If you wish to ask your question, please raise your hand in the room on the platform. I'm going to start with asking as a question with Mr. Héctor Santoy de El Sol Hidalgo.
¿Se sienten con cierta ventaja por el resultado obtenido que jugaron en el juego de ida? En el sentido de que marcar un gol de visitante puede representar una forma más fácil de conseguir su pase a la siguiente fase.
For both of you, do you guys feel like after the first match, you guys have an advantage coming into this one?
Yeah, look, the first test against Pachuca was a very difficult one. They're a team that is very well coached, an incredible coach that has them organized and very aggressive, especially in the attack. In a lot of ways, it almost looks like they play a 4-2-4 formation and they take a lot of risk. So, look, we're the only team that hasn't conceded a goal against them, haven't given up a goal. So that was a real positive. And going into the game, we wanted to stay more compact, try to keep a clean sheet. We've set ourselves up with a 0, but we know how difficult it is to come here and score a goal. So we know the task is hard. When you look at Pachuca, the way they attack with their front three, Idrissi, Sanchez, Rondon are incredible attacking players. So we'll have to do our very best. In the first game, it was unique. Nathan had to play as a central defender, which isn't his natural position, but he did an excellent job and has shown just how good of a young player he is and his versatility. So we'll have a plan in place. It's 0-0 right now. Anything is possible. But what we don't want to happen is play against Pachuca in a end-to-end game where it's now 4-3 or 3-2. That's not the way we're built to play. So we want to be organized, try to keep a 0 and try to push for our goal in a smart way.
Yeah, what Jim said, coming down here and playing is very difficult with the elements such as altitude. But yeah, it was really important to keep the 0 at home, keep the shutout with their away goals. But yeah, we have to stay compact, contain their front three because they're all very dangerous, and hopefully put in the back of the net.
Que sí, Pachuca muy buen entrenador, mucho orden, y ellos quieren mantener un partido bastante cerrado, compacto, porque contra un equipo de Pachuca jugando lado a lado, muy abierto, se les va a complicar y buscan mantener el orden. Y en la ida había ciertos cambios que jugaron, por ejemplo, él en otra posición que no era el suyo, y pues van a tratar de mantener el orden en el juego.
Alejandro, Alberto Pérez, de Unánimo, Hidalgo, por favor. Gracias.
Bienvenidos, welcome. Yo les quisiera preguntar, en México seguimos pensando que hay diferencia y que la Liga MX es superior a la MLS. ¿Ustedes qué piensan en los enfrentamientos directos que han tenido del nivel que tiene una y otra liga?
Sigue el tema de qué liga sea más fuerte en el momento y en los... There,
I
he's
think
asking,
I got to understand that.
yeah, the differences in
Difference
the
between
league,
the leagues, yes.
and saying through the rivals that you've played, how do you see the level of the teams and the leagues overall?
First and foremost, Liga MX is an incredible league. Incredible players, great stadiums, great atmosphere, difficult things like the altitude and that you have to deal with. Similar to MLS, we have also a growing league. Liga MX has perhaps much more history, for sure, but our league is getting better and better each year. When you compare the two, the top teams, I would say, in Liga MX are very, very, very dangerous. The Pachucas, the Club America, Monterrey, there's so many good, strong teams at the top. We also have good, strong teams in our league. So these competitions are very good rivalries to continue to grow and benefit both leagues. You have things like the Leagues Cup also now where you're getting to test yourself against top Liga MX teams. These are good games for our young players. They're great games for our experienced players. And ultimately, when you're playing in the Champions Cup, you deserve to be here, right? You're playing against the very top, and every player, every coach, every staff wants to test themselves against the best. So this is a great setup. To argue which league is better in certain moments, I guess is decided usually on the field, so it's going to be very difficult. And we know it's a real challenge when anytime you play a Liga MX team, especially one as good as Pachuca. Sorry for the long answers I'm making. I should probably go in like little sentences.
Que en comparación de las ligas, bueno, que puede ser mejor, pues se define en cancha, pero los equipos les sirve mucho jugar contra los equipos de la Liga MX y especialmente los mejores equipos de la liga. Siempre es interesante, les da mucho para ellos también crecer como liga y como equipo. Y las competencias como CONCACAF, el Champions y el Leagues Cup les da mucho a los equipos y beneficia a las dos ligas.
Siguiente pregunta. Alejandro. Adelante.
Buenos días, Alejandro Vázquez de Criterio. Para el profesor, como lo que comenta, ¿no?, sobre la altitud, si la altura de Pachuca en algún momento, en el trámite del encuentro, podría ser un factor más en contra en el partido de mañana. Y para el jugador, después del encuentro celebrado la semana pasada, ¿qué es lo más peligroso que vieron a Pachuca?
So for the game, do you guys have anything planned, taking in consideration the altitude of the city and taking your observations from the last match? What did you see was the most dangerous that Pachuca can do?
Idrissi, no. So look, they have a very good attacking team. For me, maybe a forgotten player for them, Gonzalez, the left back, was incredible in the first leg. His ability to run, to overlap Idrissi and add to the attack is something that at home we know will be very, very dangerous. When you factor in the altitude, things like the ball, travels an extra 5-10 yards in the air at altitude. The difficulty of a team like Pachuca that high presses and makes it hard on you. Like I said, we don't want to play end to end because that's a very dangerous thing. So we want to be very organized, compact, and we're a team that is good on the transitions and the counter attack as well. So we have to find the moments. We have to be ruthless, but certainly in the first leg, we understand with players of the quality of Sanchez, Idrissi, Rondon, Gonzalez, even at a left back with his attacking ability, it's a very, very difficult team, and it's the reason they were champions. So it will be a big test, but one we can't be scared and afraid of.
Para el partido y respecto a la altura, como ellos habían comentado, buscan un partido con mucho orden, muy compacto, porque si se abre el juego y el físico y la altura les va a costar mucho. Entonces ellos confían en su capacidad de hacer contraataque y mantenerse cerrado, y pues tomando en cuenta la altura, buscan un partido así. Y en la ida, pues ellos se enfocaron mucho el lateral izquierdo, muy buen jugador por ellos y generó mucho peligro para el equipo. Entonces, tomando en cuenta eso, pues tienen su plan para la vuelta. El peligro que genera Pachuca, pero también en general saben que Pachuca es muy buen equipo atacando y presionando fuerte arriba.
Raúl Gómez, por favor, de minuto final. Pueden salir del micrófono. Gracias.
Gracias. Buenos días. Hace un año eliminaban a Atlas también en la CONCACAF Liga de Campeones. ¿Qué tanto les motiva esta situación de poder volver a hacer esto? También tomando en cuenta el partido que hicieron contra Saprissa, que si bien fue complicado, al final lo terminan ganando en tiempo extra y pues con una cierta superioridad.
So from last season's experience in CONCACAF, how do you approach this? Is it more of like could be like revenge to have a better season in this competition?
Yeah, look, we have experience in the Champions Cup. Last year we went to a very good team in Atlas and had success and were able to beat them on the road, which was a big achievement for the club. This is a whole new season, new team, a very talented team. So there's different elements in the game. You know, Quiñones, as an example, from Atlas is now Club America, and it's just a different year. So we have a big opportunity tomorrow. We know that it's a competition that we want to go as far as possible. We're still in the beginning of our regular season, which makes it a little harder. Pachuca has a little more fitness, perhaps, than us, which is natural early in the year. But I have a very brave, young, aggressive team that is not afraid, you know, and you can't be afraid when you play against good teams, because as a player and as a coach, if you go in and are reactive and not proactive against top Liga MX teams, it is a very long night in Mexico, and I've experienced that before. So we have a difficult test ahead of us, but one we have to be brave and really be proud of being here, but also want to go further.
Que tuvieron cierto éxito en la temporada pasada en esta competencia, y este año es una nueva competencia. Quieren aprovechar, y para el juego confían mucho en sus jugadores, que son muy valientes, y es lo que se requiere para jugar a estos niveles contra equipos como Pachuca, y esperan lo mejor de la competencia, pero también quieren aspirar a llegar a este final. Se complica un poco de que van arrancando su temporada normal y Pachuca ya tiene un poco más ritmo, pero son cosas de la competencia y aspiran a llegar más lejos posible.
Ese tema es el que quería tocar. ¿Qué tan difícil es, profesor, el hecho de que ustedes vienen de un partido suspendido, están empezando el torneo y en México está a punto de llegar la fase final y los equipos están prácticamente en un mejor nivel? ¿Es injusto para la MLS el calendario y llegar en estas condiciones? Y por otra parte, que nos comparta qué piensan ambos de la llegada de Lionel Messi al fútbol de Estados Unidos.
So, any comments regarding the timing of how in Liga MX, they're almost more than halfway through their season. MLS is just beginning the season. They have two competitions. Some teams have two competitions right away. You know, how do you take into account the suspended game from the other day?
Yeah.
And then lastly, overall, your thoughts about Messi joining MLS?
Yeah, so look, I think there's a lot of different ways you can do it, right? So Liga MX has almost 2 seasons, and it helps with the calendar and the way things go on the international level. As a league, whether it's right or wrong, we start when we do, you know, and we have to adapt and adjust. We're not at our max fitness-wise just yet, and we understand that. So it is difficult, but we can't use it as an excuse. I think there's some interesting things that both leagues can learn from each other, whether it be about salary cap, expansion, how do we grow TV, all the different things. You can share ideas, and that is healthy. You can also share ideas from competition. I like the idea of the 2 brief seasons where you get to start again and there's hope rather than the long 9-month one that we have. So there's positives in both. So I see that. And it's certainly a unique challenge when our game gets canceled against Seattle. In some ways, it's a little bit lucky because we get rest, so we'll be fully refreshed and fit to go here now. As far as Messi goes, obviously when you can bring the best player in the history of the sport to the league, I think it's positive. It's a good thing. It makes it very difficult to play against Miami for sure, but it's been very good in terms of marketing, in terms of his performances on the field, and yeah, it's been a really good thing for the growth of MLS.
Pues la llegada de Messi ha sido muy bueno en temas deportivos y en marketing, y ayuda a toda la liga. En temas del calendario, pues puede ser injusto, pero siempre hay que adaptar y no buscar pretextos a lo que es. Y es algo que tienen que planear y tomar en cuenta las fechas. Y a lo mejor sí, no tendrán el ritmo, pero es parte de y van a buscar los mejores resultados.
The last questions from platform, Jonathan Tamenwold and Salvador Acosta. Please, again.
Gracias. Hi, Jim. Hi, Nate. Jonathan Tamenwold of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Jim, first of all, how is the state of this team in light of the postponement on Saturday and potentially that opening up Warrior guys to be able to play in this game? And then for both of you, Jim, it plays off something Jim said a moment ago about Atlas and Pachuca being different teams year over year. But your team last year that went down to Guadalajara was quite almost the exact same as what you got now. So how much does that experience help to know you have gotten a result in Mexico before with this group of players? Thanks.
Yeah, look, the Seattle game getting canceled is something we can't control. It was unique. In some ways, it helps us physically to recover because it's a difficult task to play on a Saturday and then come down here on Tuesday and play at altitude. So we get a little bit of a break there. Again, that game will get moved probably later in the year, and hopefully it's at a advantageous time to us. When you talk about the experience from the Atlas series last year, I think any time you get to play in these Champions Cup games, you learn so much about your team. You get stronger. You grow from it. You learn what to do, what not to do, what risks to take, what risks not to take, what the crowd is going to be like, which will be a very hostile, difficult environment. But that's our goal, to try to come here, and we recognize we have to score a goal. That's number one. That has to happen for us to move on, outside of penalty kicks, obviously, but we want to try to score a goal, and from there, obviously, defend well as a team and be hard to play against. So, yes, we take from the past experiences in Champions Cup, but we know tomorrow is a new day against a new opponent, and it'll present a lot of different challenges for us.
Yeah, I think last year in Atlas, it was a huge experience for all of us. Same team, like you said, last year to this year. We got ourselves in trouble last year in Atlas, if anyone remembers that, where we had to go score a goal and we had to defend for our lives. The crowd was very hostile. When they scored their goals, the crowd got behind them, and we know that tomorrow that can be the exact same experience. So, yeah, just learn from last year and trying to apply that to tomorrow will be a huge thing.
Que sí, era buen aprendizaje del año pasado, pero se aprendió mucho y tienen la confianza de tomarlo para este parte de la temporada y como dices, buscar el resultado.
Go ahead, George Tansey.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hi.
How is Julian Carranza?
Yeah, Julian trained fully yesterday for the first time, so Julian will be back available for selection. How we use him as a starter or off the bench, it's still a great weapon to have. You obviously have the potential of extra time, penalty kicks, so we'll certainly utilize Julian, but don't want to reveal whether that's yet as a starter or off the bench. But great to have him back. He's our top goal scorer for the past couple of years, and that helps any team for sure to get him back healthy.
En respecto al jugador, Julián está recuperando y hasta el momento no se sabe si va a jugar de suplente titular, pero ya está incorporado al equipo.
Coach and players, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gracias a la prensa y gracias a nuestro traductor.